And recording on the mic. What's up, Steff?
Hello, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being on. You look all dressed up. Where are you going?
I'm going to a L'Oreal pop-up this evening.
As in like the makeup brand or
The
whatever?
makeup brand,
Ah, okay.
yes.
What's where?
It's at Miss Piper's, and they're dropping a new line of some fun things that's coming up. And they're emerging into this market a lot more.
What, to Cayman, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So what, you're modeling for them or?
Influencing, I guess.
Okay,
A bit of a
okay.
brand ambassador. L'Oreal's awesome, guys.
That's the new word, right? Influencing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no, but I'm actually really happy with like the process as to why they picked me. 'Cause I don't have a lot of followers and stuff on Instagram, but they love the authentic content that I post. And I'm not the traditional girl that has a whole skin routine and wear makeup.
Right.
And you know, there's a huge demographic of girls like me that we prefer to be natural, we don't engage in makeup so much, or may not be well aware and informed on the importance of it. So I guess I get to teach this audience as I teach myself.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Yeah, it's like it's just a little more authentic because you're just out there doing you.
Yeah.
And I've seen your stories and I like them a lot. I encouraged you to keep doing them, didn't I?
Thank you.
At one point,
Yeah, you did.
And so I love that they identified you as a candidate and not like the typical glam sort of
you know.
chick.
Yeah, best of both worlds.
That's cool. So it's at Miss Piper. Is it open to the public or?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's a private event.
I think it's a public bar, right? You can just hang around.
Okay, so it's over. Yeah, that's true. It's Miss Piper's is a bar and restaurant. So
Miss Piper.
You guys gonna be jumping in the pool later too, or that's not this kind of party?
I mean, I think it could be. It's funny, Miss Piper's, man. Anytime I go there, I just think about the crew.
What, the film crew?
Yeah, the film crew.
Oh, when they were staying there, you mean?
Yeah. During COVID. I don't know. It's like, do I talk to them, talk to you?
Wherever, who cares?
Well, yeah, during COVID, all these movies were filmed here,
Yeah.
and they stayed at what was Hampton Inn.
Yeah.
And every night after like 14-hour day of shooting, these guys would go back and just drink and party all night and then repeat the same next
and
day.
Get up and do it. And you were right
and
there
it's
along
hard
with them.
work. Yeah, sometimes, not every night, but yeah.
I went back once or twice and I was like, wow, these guys are really going at it, you know. But
Every night.
Yeah.
And they wake up early. Like sometimes we're working throughout the entire night, and we have to be back on set for like 3 p.m. And we're there until, I don't know,
it was brutal.
6 a.m.
It was brutal. So you worked on, was it the 2 films in 22?
All of them.
You worked on the 4 films back in 21 as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so
6 in
wow.
total, right?
So I can never remember who was a part of what, but
yeah, from day one. Blue Iguana to room 2, 3, 4.
Unit 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, Unit 2,
that's
3,
out.
4.
That's out now.
Really?
Yeah.
I need to watch it.
You haven't seen the trailer?
I haven't seen any of the movies.
Ronnie showed me the trailer on one of the podcasts. So you haven't seen any of the movies?
I haven't seen any of the movies.
I saw The Retirement Plan. I saw The Baker. I think those were the only 2 I've seen.
Baker was one of my favorites.
Yeah, me too.
Set-wise.
But I want to see Unit 2, 3, 4. I thought that was interesting. Yeah.
It was a good script.
So many night scenes in that one.
I loved it. And the rain scenes.
Yeah, and the rain scenes. Yeah, it was crazy how many times we had to get the fire trucks out there to hose down the place with water. So, when were you Crafty? What films were those?
The last 2.
The last 2, because of the first year you were in art?
Yes.
That's right.
So, and the reason why I did that is because I had this dream to start my own charter company.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to get experience working on a yacht overseas. And I was like, what's the fastest way for me to get to working on a boat? And I was like, cooking. Like, I can cook.
Right.
I don't need to get a certificate to crew on a vessel as a cook. And then I was like, but I need experience. And then came up with this. And I was like, instead of the art department, I love set deck. I'm so sorry. I was like, I'll go to Crafty's and make this sacrifice. And I learned so much with Chef Emmett. Right before it finished, and I'm looking for jobs the entire time on schooners. Like the entire 3 months. Yeah. And then my buddy reached out to me. I haven't spoken to him in like a year, out of the blue. Hey, Steff, do you want to come crew? We're looking for a cook in Germany on this 136-foot schooner. And I was like, yes, immediately yes. And then I quit / got fired, and then next thing you know, I'm crewing at Top Chef Canada, and then I'm on a plane to Germany. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, what do you mean you were crewing on Top Chef, like the show?
Yeah.
So you were on that show too? Oh, okay.
Because right afterwards, and it was amazing.
It all blurs together, but yeah.
I was the AD, was it, for, not like the assistant for the cast, whatever that was.
Yeah, AD.
AD.
Yeah.
And all of the cast for Top Chef Canada are these incredible chefs and restaurateurs. So I spent a few days of them getting to pick their brains and hang out with them and learn from the best right before I went to Germany to cook. And now I have my own charter boat and we do fine dining on board.
And how's that going?
It's going really well. It's been a crazy journey. Just life is crazy.
And how long have you been doing this now? A year? More than a year? Year and a half?
2.5 years now.
2.5.
Yeah,
wow.
It's been a while. It's been a few. Time goes by so quickly.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah. So where's the boat right now?
The boat is currently near Duck Pond.
Okay.
On the dock. The other night I did an event called Burgers and Tea.
Cool.
And
Burgers and tea.
Yes. Well, it was originally burgers and beers, and I was targeting a certain demographic. Mainly of men, alcoholic men in the Cayman Islands. Come on a boat captained by a female and eat a burger and drink some beer or whatever.
Right.
And I didn't get my demographic that I wanted, but I got another demographic of young professional Caymanians that are just looking for something to do.
And they want tea? They want to drink tea?
So it was actually iced tea. It was spiked iced tea. So what happened... So I'm like new into this world and I'm like, yeah, it's a lot. It's hard running a business, okay? Especially when you don't really know what you're doing.
It's a level of honesty right there, right? But I think everyone doesn't know what they're doing when they first start running the business, right?
So I want to do these events, weekly events, because I want to start creating this community, this culture of enjoying food, drinks, music on a boat after work, just at nighttime, just hanging out. And the most expensive thing for burgers and beers was the alcohol. And remember, I'm trying to make a profit here. And my mom was like, you're an influencer, you're a model. You don't have to pay for that. Get someone to sponsor it. Like, I just did something with K-Brew, and she's like, ask K-Brew.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, you're right. This is how events work. Right. People get sponsorship. Right. And I reached out to them. They said no, but they told me to check out this other brand, and it's called Surfside Iced Tea plus vodka, and it's actually really good.
Cool. So you got it sponsored?
Yes. Well, the alcohol.
Right.
But it was actually really good. I don't like Trulies or Good Boys or anything canned, pre-made, but that was high quality. Yeah, everyone agreed. I think I'll actually buy some. It worked. It worked.
So tell me about this boat thing. Like, how do clients find you? Like, what's the service? Do you actually like go on the boat and then like drive out somewhere and cruise and enjoy like with music and stuff, and then you come back? Is that kind of what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, originally, it's just everything changes as I go. But when I first got it, I didn't even want to take the boat off the dock. I wanted it to stay there and fully operate as like a bar/restaurant. Okay. But then, logistically, it was just a nightmare. And at the beginning, I was honestly afraid of the boat. I was like afraid to go out there. Sure. And it's scary at nighttime. It's a yacht. It's a 60-foot vessel.
So it's at night that you do this?
Yes.
Always at night?
No, not always. Okay. But I love nighttime vibes. Just being out in the North Sound at nighttime on this massive yacht. It's gorgeous. You have the stars. You can walk around. It's a mood. It's a vibe. But you can find me on AtSea.ky, Instagram. There's flyers all over the place, but mainly through concierges and assistants and so on that book me out. But my main service right now is dine at sea. So it's a 3-course, 6-course, 7-course, whatever you want on the boat. You have a private chef, your own server, and the crew. And we take you out, have some canopies, a welcome drink, whatever you want.
I love it.
The main thing is building around what your desires are. So it's kind of like on a real yacht, on a mega yacht, on a super yacht, they will interview you and you would fill out a form of all the foods that you like and don't like, allergies. And then their chef crafts a whole menu based on that for you. Right. So I wanted to bring that concept here to Cayman of fine dining, culinary arts, and water sports.
So it's like a bespoke offering tailored to their needs.
Yeah.
Is there like a minimum amount of people that can go on the boat that you need?
There's a minimum price.
Okay.
Like recently we did a proposal charter. It was 2 people that had the whole thing, a private chef and stuff. And
cute.
It was beautiful. And we had another one. It was 6 people.
Right.
That's the max for the seated dinner.
Right.
But we're looking at doing some other event where it's like buffet style to fit more people. But the max that it can hold is 30. I had 50 people, 55 people on the boat before.
Uh-huh.
And apparently it's held 75. I'm not about that. I don't like the big groups.
Right.
And it kind of takes away from the experience.
So why was just serving, or doing the whole experience on the boat on a dock a logistical nightmare? It seems more of a logistical nightmare to actually take the boat out.
So location. It's all about location.
Right.
I mean,
where were you? Was it like in the middle of like swamp or something? People had to like go through the bush to get to the boat.
It's actually really hard to find a dock space on the island, believe it or not. Even like Georgetown Yacht Club, like all the marinas, you're required to have insurance to keep your boat there, and it was difficult for me to get insurance at the beginning. And then Camana Bay, where I wanted to be. They said no because I'd be directly competing with them and like the other restaurants there. Okay. So I was like, okay, I don't understand that, but okay. But they told me I could work with another restaurant. And and it's funny. Whoever's listening, like I would like to say, I think it's good like to plan out. And even if it's weird and different, it's okay with jobs. Because when they told me that, I was like, okay, the only restaurant I'll work with at Camana Bay would be Aqua. I think they're the best restaurant there. It matches the level of service that I want to provide on my boat. Okay. And I did this competition, and then I got all these job offers, and then I got offered a job at Agua. And I was like, yes, I'm going to go. I'm going to go in and learn everything I can about this company, right. Everything about the menu, the chefs, and the people that go in there, and just learn about fine dining in Cayman and the type of clientele. And what I've learned from working there actually is, and after going to Singapore for this culinary competition, is that hospitality is the foundation for business and politics.
Hospitality is the foundation for business and politics, no matter what business it is?
I don't know. Just business in general. Like for example, Aqua, the lunch. The main people who are going in there for business meetings, you have lawyers, attorneys, politicians, entrepreneurs. They're going in there to have a meeting, press client and whatnot, even the corporate gatherings they would have or the staff appreciation. Like there's a lot that happens for businesses with hospitality.
Right, I see what you're saying.
Do you know? Like, and that surprised me. I wasn't expecting so many business people to go meet over lunch.
I think that's an interesting point.
Business lunch it's a popular thing. Even in Singapore, while we're up there, realizing how connected governments are with their hospitality industry. Right. And how much they contribute to these events and stuff that's happening. I'm like, okay. I don't know. There's businesses, like even hotels, for example. Right. Hotels is all about hospitality and tourism.
And politicians are always there.
Politicians are always there. Yeah, look at all the corporate events that they host and the gatherings. Yeah. I feel, why did they have massive ballrooms? Do we have more weddings in these ballrooms or conferences? Right. So I realized,
that's an interesting point. I like that a lot. I never quite thought about that.
No, obviously I should think into it some more, but something to explore. Okay. Yeah.
So that made you like more secure in what you're doing, like more confident in the boat.
Yeah, definitely.
Service that you're offering? Yeah. Okay. So, are you working at Agua right now?
Sorry?
Are you working at Agua right now?
No.
Okay, this was
not
in the
anymore.
past.
Yeah. Okay. I just worked there for a few months to train for this competition.
I don't remember that. Can't keep up with you stuff.
I'm all over the place. But it's all on purpose. Like, there's a plan. Even though it looks like I'm all over the place, and that's what I want the audience to get, it's intentional. There's purpose behind it. Yeah. But it's crazy. Sorry, I think back a lot. Like, what would have happened if I took that job offer in Toronto, following the film crew back instead of pursuing my dream of owning my own business.
What was that job offer? And who offered it to you?
It was both. Actually, both crews, both years offered me. First time with Aiden and Jesse and them. Got offered a job in Vancouver.
So working our team?
Yeah, working our
cool.
team. Yeah, in Vancouver. I don't know why I said no. And then Emmett, again, he offered me a job. He was like, please come up with me to work in this movie. Because he was going straight to another movie.
Right. Yeah. I think I remember that that part. I remember you telling me about that.
So,
yeah. But you said no.
Yeah.
You said no.
Said no to Hollywood, guys.
Interesting. No, I wonder why that is. Production.
I don't know. I just had a goal.
Yeah.
You know, I think if I were to be offered it now, I'd say yeah.
Yeah?
Actually, no, I'm focused now.
Well, I think you can always go back to it if you wanted to. Yeah.
Oh, you know why I said no, actually?
Why?
Because I realized how miserable they are.
I hope they don't hear that.
Yeah, sorry, guys. No, but they're like in their late 30s, mid 30s, or their 40s, and they've been in the industry their entire lives.
Yeah.
You know, it's draining.
It is draining.
It's exhausting, like working on film sets.
Filmmakers are pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's...
You know, it's an incredible lifestyle.
Yeah.
But I realized I don't want to be stuck in that.
Yeah, I mean, when you work 12-hour days...
Every day. Like 3 months in a row.
Yeah. And that's not even including the lunch. It's 6 hours and then the lunch. And then another 6 hours. Like, you know, that takes a toll.
Yeah. It's good food, though, when I made it. With Chef
It was fun with you guys. I remember you going into Crafty, and I'm thinking, why? I don't know why you got into Crafty. Yeah. I think I had to push you there somehow.
Oh, yeah, it was...
Because you were art, and then it was like, well, Crafty's not going to fit for you. That doesn't make sense. But then you're like, yeah, I want to learn.
Yeah.
And
I wanted to learn how to run a kitchen professionally. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I can remember your head sticking out of the cart.
I loved it.
With the call sheet right there.
Honestly, I had so much fun. It was the best time ever. Just bringing vibes. I also love people, and hospitality is all about people. And it was just so much fun. And seeing how happy people were for food and realizing everyone looks forward to lunch.
Yeah.
Everyone is just waiting for that time. Yeah. And then I realized we have such an important role here. We're the morale of the set.
Sure, that's true. And then people would get upset if they didn't like the food or something was off or whatever.
Yeah,
like it was very important.
Yeah,
and then not only the lunch, but what was it called when you brought meals?
The subs.
Yeah. Before lunch and after, like on the 3 hour mark or whatever. Yeah, I think I longed for those more than
I think so too. Yeah, the
lunch.
Subs. People love the subs.
The subs are great.
That was a good time. And then it got to the point where I was done. I was absolutely exhausted. This is when call time was at 3 a.m.
We had a 3 a.m. call.
Or 3:30, 4 a.m. call. This is for Big Mouth.
Little Mouth.
Oh, Little Mouth in West Bay. And by that point, it was so much.
Oh, well, you guys had the 3 a.m. call. Yeah,
we were there to make breakfast. I was on call to make breakfast. I was the first one there.
Yeah.
Literally, with the security guard, like the first one on the set. And it was like a few days in a row. And it was so busy, I was afraid to even use the bathroom. I was like, I can't even go use the bathroom. This is when I got promoted. Okay. So now I'm up. Now I'm like second to Chef Emmett. And I'm like running it now. Like going there early, first thing, coming up with the menu for what we're going to make for the subs and stuff. And it was so much work. I couldn't even use the bathroom. I was afraid to go use the bathroom, like literally. Yeah. So busy. And one morning I was driving up there, almost crashed my car, like just out of exhaustion. And I was like, I messaged Chef and I was like, I can't do this. Can't do this. I'm not coming in. I'm sorry. I'm shaking up. Just got into a little bit of an accident. Sorry. And he's like, just don't come back. And then that's what happened. That's the story.
How many weeks?
That's the truth.
How many weeks? How many weeks were left? It was towards
like
that. Two more weeks.
3 more weeks. 2 more weeks.
So I can't remember what we did after that when you left.
You know what happened? Guys, you know what happened after that?
What?
It all went to hell.
That's funny.
Because someone got COVID. The kitchen just went to shambles because we were running it.
Yeah, we had to make it work.
They couldn't find anyone.
I remember we put in...
Something happened. It was a disaster.
Yeah, we had to put some PAs in there.
Yeah,
it was like
crazy.
Just trying to squeeze by there at that point.
And then all the kitchen staff, didn't they get COVID?
I remember Emmett getting COVID at one point, but I don't remember. Yeah, that was the year I got COVID too. It was right in between the films, right in between Unit 2, 3, 4 and Little Mouth. So that was the good thing actually.
Yeah.
I didn't miss any work, but that was the year, because the previous year no one had COVID, remember?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because there was no COVID on the island.
And we were doing no testing.
And we weren't doing testing. That was great. But the following year, we were doing testing and everybody was getting COVID.
Yeah. I didn't like the testing. Every day before we could go on set, we had to do a test. That was terrible.
That was terrible.
Like, you remember going up your nose?
Yeah.
Thank God it's over.
Yeah, true. That would burn. Yeah. So why were you in Singapore again? What was up with that?
Singapore is incredible. I was in Singapore for a global competition called Young Chef, Young Waiter, Young Mixologist, YYYY. And they have like regional competitions. So I won the Cayman one somehow as the waitress, as a server. Okay. And then we went to Singapore for the global finals.
So what was this competition that you won? Where was this?
It was held at the Ritz-Carlton.
Okay.
And this, no, I don't want to talk about that. Never mind. That's too political. Hospitality and politics is still too close to home.
Okay, but you won this competition at the Ritz. How many people were competing?
2 other people.
Okay.
2 other people. Or 3, was it 3 other? No, 3 other people were competing.
Yeah.
And it kind of happened by accident. I saw Chef Brittany Bodden's post.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I can do this. Like, this is up my alley. I signed up representing my company AtSea because we do food service.
Yeah.
And I was like, just vibing. It was all fun and games until like we went to go start. And I see the other competitors like ironing their cloth and doing this, like all professional. And I find out they work at Blue in the Ritz-Carlton, which is the only proper fine dining restaurant in Cayman. Almost a Michelin restaurant. Okay. Cayman doesn't have real fine dining. It's casual fine dining. Okay. So Blue is the closest thing to true fine dining.
Interesting.
And they work there. And they work there every single day. I run a boat charter, guys. I'm cleaning my boat and driving it. And sometimes we do the food service for the guests. So I don't have that like traditional training.
Sure.
But I had my love and my smile and somehow made it work.
Awesome.
Ended up winning. And then going to Singapore. And then Singapore became 4th place out of 9.
Huh.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
Like 10 days. No, like 8 days.
So what's it like over there? What were you surprised about?
I was surprised by how clean the city was. How friendly the people were. The people were so friendly, so open. They were all so happy. They were all very disciplined and obedient. I was surprised that no one had any really comments or opinions about China. I think that's just a Western thing. Right. I was really surprised, honestly.
Right.
Talking to people from Thailand and stuff about what they think about China. No one really has
things to say. Yeah. Like one of my friends who lived in Russia, and like one of the things she was blown away with was they just don't really talk about America at all. Yeah. And she's like, well, we talk about Russia all the time. Yeah. And they're just like over there, just like not concerned. Yeah. So that kind of threw her for a loop. Yeah. It sounds similar to what you're saying.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Singapore, it reminds me of Cayman, but.
Why?
The people.
The people?
Yeah.
Cool.
The people. I think Cayman can learn a lot from Singapore in regards to their culture and economy. Yeah. 100%.
Okay.
And also, they're very strict. The government was super strict, and now it's a bit more relaxed. Yes, they're still strict. People don't realize that it's still a very strict country.
Like what? What did you experience?
For example, like Chef Brittany and Cody and I, the mixologists, like we all had some vapes, and once we got to the airport, we threw away our vapes and gum because chewing gum and vapes are banned in the country.
No way.
But then we meet all the locals, everyone's vaping there, so it's like, oh, whatever.
Interesting. But when you entered, you had to throw away gum. That's pretty weird.
Yeah, we had to throw away chewing gum. Like, there's no black spots of old gum anywhere on the sidewalks.
Interesting.
It's clean.
Huh.
I don't know. Singapore was just the vibe. The food was impeccable. And also, I learned so much about the importance of hospitality and how, like, incredible food is celebrated and people love good drinks and good cocktails and it means a lot to them over there. And I don't know. I just thought, and how much pride people take in their work. That was really eye-opening for me. Even like the other waitress, the Thailand waitress, who I think personally should have won. But they were, all of them, especially all the people from Asian countries, are so passionate and so dedicated and so prideful of their jobs. And here in Cayman, in the Caribbean, like, these roles are looked down upon.
Right.
However, these roles up there is absolutely celebrated. That's what I learned, even being in London. Being a chef, like, it's something that's totally celebrated. Being a mixologist, like, all of these competitions that they have, and even great service, like, yeah, even this London girl, she was a lot. But she loved her job so much, and she loved her level of service so much. When I found out how much they were getting paid, I was shocked. I was like, that's crazy. That's like not
good money?
No, not good money at all. It was terrible money. I was like, no way. I thought, but you can live on that in London. You cannot live on that here in Cayman. And I was telling them how much they can make here, and she's like, no, absolutely not. I would never move and work there. She's like, something about the standard. There's no standard there. I think maybe she's a little bit jealous, but we were loose. We're from the Caribbean, but she's right though. Like, we don't have that high standard for service,
Right.
And because of that, even though she can make 3 times more, she wouldn't want to come down here.
Right.
That's how dedicated she is to her profession as a waitress.
Well, you said it yourself when you said how much you realize hospitality is like foundational to, you know, just business and politics, right? So, and if it really is foundational, then there's a reason people take it seriously.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's very true.
Whereas maybe in Cayman and Caymanians don't.
Yeah.
Right?
We're vibing. Like, yeah.
Everyone. No, I had a friend who worked, you know, we were in college at the time. So this was years ago. And then coming back to Cayman over the summers, you know, she would work at a restaurant, and it was just, people would come in and see her, and she always felt like they would make these comments like, oh, this is where you're at now? Like, this is what you're doing with your life?
Yeah.
It's like, what, you know? And it's just...
It's terrible. And you know what's so crazy? Especially Caymanians. When I worked at PD's, I worked at several different restaurants, but PD's, that's where I got the most amount of hate, and that's where I served the most amount of Caymanians. But I know so many servers, waitresses, and bartenders who have multiple properties here in the Cayman Islands. Just saying. There's a lot of them. I'm surprised, too. I thought they just have one house, and finding out they have that house and stuff. And you can make a good living with it. It's just, it's hard, especially when your own people look down upon you.
Yeah.
I remember at Kaibo, working as a server. I was a food runner at first. During COVID, and I wanted to work at Kaibo specifically because I wanted to get information on water sports, the boats that come in, who comes in, what's going on there. This master plan
that you have,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. I was like, if I'm going to go back, it has to be Kaibo. PD's, I was just desperate and needing money, but Kaibo, that was more strategic. And, yeah, I wasn't allowed to serve any tables, even though I wanted to be the server. But anytime a Caymanian family or Caymanian table came in, I'd be like, oh, Steff, there you go. You can serve that table. Like,
really?
No one wanted to deal with them, which is terrible. They're like, oh, they don't tip. And I'd always go and make it a point and just give them the absolute best service that I can. And they would always tip. They would tip good. I remember one time one guy from the kitchen didn't really like me because I always put the guests first, no matter what. Even the chef, the most recent dinner charter we did, it was a bit difficult for the chef to execute this menu because I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say yes to the guests, no matter what. Even though sometimes a great manager knows how to tell them no without saying no.
Right.
And I'm learning how to do that. Good. Wattler is really good with that from Aqua. Wattler. Okay. Wattler from Aqua. Yeah, he's really good at that. That's a skill.
Right.
I'm just like, yes, we'll make it happen. It's like, it's impossible. And what was I saying again? Oh, yeah, like this family was so upset because at Kaibo, everyone knows you wait so long to get your food and you have to wait so long to get your drinks. And people just lose their patience. Yeah. These people finally get their food and it's the wrong thing. Like, she wanted this or that. And I would go and fight the kitchen. And I was like, it's okay, I'm coming. I will chop the garlic myself. She wanted freshly chopped garlic. Okay. And I was like, I will go and chop the garlic myself. Okay. I'm going to make sure she gets it. And then the chef finally gives it to me. What was I saying again? Oh, yeah, the most recent one. So I don't have power on my boat. My generator is completely busted. Okay. So when we go out to sea, there's no power. And that's one of the logistical issues I had to deal with. Because, you need power to cook. The chef was under the impression that she was going to have power. So the entire menu was built on this. Like, we're set.
How does that work?
We're ready to go. I arrive, and she finds out there's no power, and her heart just drops. Like, her eyes just flush. Her whole face, she's like, what do we do? Because she has to...
Even I'm feeling it right now.
Yeah,
What
she had to bake a lava cake. She seared everything that had to go in an oven, like, to keep it up to temperature, like, all these things. And I was like, you're just going to have to make it work. Like, let me know how I can help you. I'll have this, I have that. We can use the barbecue out back. And then I can just tell, like, in her face, she's like she's going to make it work, but it's just...
She wasn't happy.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay, and my deckhand's like, let's get the generator. And I was like, I don't know how we're going to connect that generator. We left all the electrical stuff on the dock. And he's like, all right, fine, whatever. And he comes back. And I was like, okay, it was a whole thing. And I was like, okay, let's just get the generator. Go get the generator. We have to leave. It's 4:30. The guests are supposed to be there at 4:30. It's like 4:15. And we're like, oh, shit. And I get a text. Turns out the guests are at the wrong location. So I was like, go get the generator. Go now. Go get it. And came back. He hooked it up. And right when we finished testing it and everything, the guests arrived. Wow. And it was the most beautiful, perfect dinner.
Awesome.
Yeah. I love the drama. That's another thing about hospitality. I don't know why we're talking so much about hospitality. I guess we are. And why my next thing that I'm working on, which I'll talk to you about it.
Okay. But, not on air.
Well, I want to do, hospitality has so much drama, okay? There's so much drama, but you will never know when you're at the table.
Right.
And that's great service. There's always a fire in the kitchen. But the guests can never know. If you're an events planner or you do anything like that, I'm sure Sean knows a lot about this as well, like, there's always some fire in the back, but the guests can never know about the fire.
Right.
And I want to film that. I want to do a whole production just on that chaos, all that fire that happens behind the scenes that you don't see.
There's a few shows like that, isn't there?
I think Hell's Kitchen is one of them. Yeah. Below Deck, it's a great one.
Okay, and you have something similar in mind. You love that sort of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Chaos.
I love the chaos. That's where I thrive. I thrive in chaos. That's why I love sailing, because it's just, I don't know.
So when let's go to, so in your stories, well, I can't remember the recent ones, but some that I saw in the past, you look, I don't know where the heck you are. You're sailing with like 2 or 3 other people. Yeah. And it's this weird scenario where it doesn't look like you're on your boat here, right? No, it looks like a lot smaller boat.
Yes.
And then you're showing us, like, how you guys eat and use the bathroom and all this stuff. Where was that and when was that?
That was last year, February. And that was in the West Caribbean.
West Caribbean.
Yeah, so we were sailing down from Grand Cayman to Panama.
Okay.
But instead of because of the currents and the winds, you don't want to be close to the Mosquito Coast.
So were you actually sailing?
We were sailing.
Sailing, straight up sailing.
Was
there a motor on the boat?
Yeah, there's a motor on the boat.
Okay, I'm just asking.
You don't want to motor sail.
Sure, I'm just asking. Nah, I'm just asking how
turn
crazy
that engine off.
You are.
Yeah, nah. Turn it. You know how crazy I am? Well, there's a lot of stories I can tell you. But I would say passionate. My grandfather, to sum it up, my grandfather said it was the blind leading the blind. And how do I even start the story? Okay, I found out COVID-19 was happening after arriving to Bermuda on a sailboat, on this massive schooner. We were doing a project called Sail for Climate Action. That's one of the coordinators for the project.
Uh-huh.
After that, we're stuck in quarantine, blah, blah, blah. Every day in quarantine, I'm looking at sailing videos, watching sailing videos.
This was in Bermuda? Or were you back in Cayman?
We're back in Cayman now. So that was my first taste of sailing and being out at sea. Craziness. Talk about craziness and chaos. That was a lot happening on that trip.
Yeah. That's a real Caymanian to be out there sailing like that.
Yeah. I think we need to go back to our roots. I know of so many young Caymanian men that would love to do that. And actually, I would love to see the government to push that some more. I think we should have a dedicated scholarship fund for captain's license and so on. I think here in Cayman, it should be a requirement to have a captain's license to operate a vessel here. But I understand that some of these guys may not be able to read or write, but they can run this boat perfectly.
Right.
If that's the case, that seems, anytime I talk about this, that comes up a lot. Like, all these people would be upset. And I was like, well, let's meet them where they are. And let's set a new standard for the next generation of captains coming in. Let's create a new test, our own Cayman certification for them that reaches all the boat standards, even though they cannot sit down and do a traditional exam. Mm-hmm. Just for safety reasons, because it does get crazy out there.
So, okay,
sorry,
let's go back to Panama.
My thoughts are all over the place.
Let's go back to Panama. So you're sailing to Panama from Cayman. So
Yes.
you're like hugging the Central American coast?
Yes, but...
Cool. But what?
I thought, in my opinion, we were way too close to the Mosquito Coast,
Okay.
which is off of Nicaragua.
Right. Why? Like
Because there's lots of drug boats,
Right.
lots of pirates.
Right.
It's shallow.
Right.
It's just asking for trouble.
Right. Right.
And in my opinion, as crazy as I am, all about safety first.
Yeah.
As irresponsible as I may come off as, I believe I'm very responsible when it comes to safety. Because I love to push the limit and have fun. And I think we can only do that if there's some sense of security and safety. I didn't like that. And then we ended up going to San Andres. I could not get off the ship at San Andres. I had to stay on the boat.
Why?
Because some drama and some stuff that has nothing to do with me, but could come back to me. So for my own safety, I had to stay on that boat.
Okay.
Yeah.
In San Andres.
In San Andres.
That's Colombia, right?
Yeah, Colombia.
So, am I allowed to ask more?
Yeah, go for
Well,
it.
I mean, it wasn't like a political thing because you were Caymanian and you weren't allowed it there or something, or
Not political, but it's my ties of Cayman. Yeah.
explain.
I don't want to go too deep into it, but I was just, there was some threats and some stuff, and I was like, yeah, I just don't want to be there, you know? I was like, let's go.
Yeah, yeah.
The first time I went to San Andres, I remember sitting down, just got a drink, we just sat down, like in the patio, and there's gunshots just go off. And like, that's just the norm. That was not the norm for me. But San Andres is beautiful. People there are also very beautiful. There's lots of people from San Andres here in Cayman, actually. But what's even the most beautiful place I went to on a sailing trip in the Caribbean would be Providence, which is a small island off of San Andres.
Okay.
It's absolutely, apparently that's where Blackbeard used to be, and
Yeah, I remember
Captain Henry Morgan and stuff.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Good old Captain Morgan, huh?
Yeah, his hideout was there.
Huh.
Yeah. And St. Catalina Island, yeah.
Huh.
Yeah,
So where'd you go after San Andres?
we went to Panama,
Okay.
to Bocas del Toro, which is amazing. They have an amazing party called Filthy Fridays. You should go, if you ever go.
Should go to Filthy Fridays in
Yeah,
Panama.
Filthy Fridays, yeah.
Ah,
It's like, it's an island hop party.
Yeah.
So you're on a little panga, like the speedboat thing, and you hop from island to island. And every island there's a bar and DJ.
Cool.
So much. We need something like that here in Cayman. But I don't know. What do you think about Cayman's party culture?
Just in general?
Yeah.
I don't know much about it.
Do you think there's a party scene here? Do you think people want it, or people going to the more healthy living?
Healthy living. I don't think we're the biggest party island in the world, because I've met a lot of party people who have come here and like, this is dead.
Yeah, it is dead.
You know?
I traveled enough to know.
So
It's dead.
I don't think we have a party culture here so much. Why? What do you think?
I don't know. I'm exploring it. I have nothing to say about it just as yet.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I want to know. Do people feel deprived? I mean, we have Carnival.
I think some people do feel deprived. Yeah.
They're being free. Because I hear a lot of people, when they travel, that's when they really go off and
Yeah.
have fun. But it's too small, right? This is another thing that's great about the boat, and why a lot of people love to book and come out with me, is because you have full privacy. I think that's like the main selling point right now.
Right.
Full privacy.
Right.
Go out there, yeah, have fun. You're safe.
Yeah.
You know, no one's gonna be filming you. You can't even party now because everything 345 is gonna film you and post you. You know?
Huh.
Yeah.
So there's no cell phones allowed on the boat, or what?
Depends on the party. I'm just joking. Just joking. Actually, yeah, never mind. Keep it PG. There's one party place in Cayman that I went to where you have to put your phone. You can't go in. Yeah, you can't go into your phone. They take your phone before you enter.
Where's that?
It's rooftop bar. There's a strip club in rooftop. We should probably cut this out. But there's a strip club. In rooftop. Huh. Yeah. It's not a real strip club.
Huh.
Yeah.
The only time I had to put my phone away somewhere it came out was election day.
Oh, yeah. Did you vote?
Oh, yeah, I voted.
Nice. Who do you vote for?
Yeah,
Wait, where are you registered to vote?
West Bay.
West Bay, North.
One of those areas. One of those areas out there. It's fine.
Oh.
But no, take me back to Panama. So I'm very interested in that trip because one of the movies that we'd love to do is called Fort Tortuga. Maybe I told you about it.
Yeah, you mentioned it.
And in the movie, they do the same trip.
Okay.
They go down like the Sea.ky area, over to Nicaragua, and it just takes place out there, and it was dangerous then, and this story takes place in the 50s or 60s. Dangerous. Right. So how long was that sail trip?
It took us 4 days to get to San Andres because we were going against the current. Mm-hmm. The wind was in our favor going down south. However, the current was going up north. So how a sailboat works, it works with the wind and the current. That's why you have the keel, the big thing underneath the boat. Uh-huh. The current goes against that, and then the wind, the sail goes against the wind goes against the sail, and then it propels it forward. Mm-hmm.
I've YouTubed this a couple times just to figure out how the heck does a sailboat work when the wind's not with you. And it made sense. It made sense every time. Well, besides using the motor, and it made sense every time I Googled it or whatever. But for the life of me, I can't sail.
Really?
Where did you learn to sail?
I learned how to sail with this sailing club at Prospect Primary, like for PE. Cool. Sometimes they would...
That where you went? Oh, Prospect?
Yeah, I went to Prospect. Prospect. And they did the sailing program. I loved it. These little programs are so important. Right. The older I get, the more I realize how important youth programs are. It really inspires people, let them know what's available. Right. And it plays a role. All these youth programs have been played a role in my life.
Yeah. Sure, I mean, that one played a big role in your life, right? It seems like.
I would have never known. Right. I just loved it. I never thought I would be sailing now. You know, it just happened. It's something I knew I loved. And then how it all happened, actually, I wanted to do a youth sailing program. So this is a few years back when I was super active politically and environmental conservation and stuff.
I remember you in those days. That was pre-COVID, right?
Pre-COVID, yeah. And my next big project, I want to do a sailing project, a youth sailing project, regional sailing project, because I wanted to sail across the Atlantic Ocean. That was a dream of mine, and to do a youth sailing program. And then it happened, and it was life-changing for everyone. Everyone on that boat, it changed all of our lives.
Wait, what did you do? Sail across the Atlantic?
Well, we were supposed to. Okay. So it was a 3-month project called Sail for Climate Action, and the goal was to unite Caribbean and Latin American youth voices across the Atlantic Ocean. So we picked up 25 top youth environmentalists from the Caribbean, Latin America, and even from indigenous communities to develop a plan that we were going to present to the United Nations intersessionals for the United Nations Climate Change Conference. They have like the pre-meeting before that and to determine what they're going to discuss at the COP. And we were going to go deliver this message. And once we got to Europe, we were supposed to tour, going to all different universities, meeting up with various government officials and businesses and going to different rallies and stuff. But we only made it to Bermuda. We sailed through the Bermuda Triangle.
Did you?
Yeah. Cool. To find out the world is shutting down because there's a global pandemic. Right. Everything hit the fan once we reached the Bermuda Triangle. I don't know if it's real. All I know, we went in and nothing was ever the same.
That's interesting. Yeah. That is pretty interesting. You can literally say you went to the Bermuda Triangle and then when you came out of it, the whole world had changed. Huh.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. It's my fault. COVID happened. No, it was... Everything was...
Bermuda's out there, too.
It's way out there.
I had no idea
It's in the middle of, the Atlantic Ocean.
I assume it's cold out there.
It was so cold. Yeah. Once the sun set, it was freezing. The water was cold too.
Yeah.
So beautiful, but weird. Bermuda's a weird place. The people are awesome. Reminding me just of Cayman. They're Caribbean, true and true. Trust me.
Right.
But the vibes are weird. Like all of the houses are painted pastel colors, like pastel pinks and blues, greens, yellows. All of the roofs are white. And in the main town, where like the cruise ships go, I guess, everything's pastel. It's weird. There's ducks swimming in the water, like normal looking ducks that you see like in a lake, swimming in the ocean behind Iron Shore. That was weird.
Yeah, that is weird.
It was a weird sight.
You don't see that so
and
much.
Then there's 80s music playing on repeat in the town center. Like 80s music on repeat, same songs. Like same 12 songs. And the people there are just sitting like all smiling nonstop.
What are you talking about?
I'm telling you, man. Bermuda was weird. Yeah, it was my favorite. Honestly, my favorite memory. Everywhere I go, my favorite memory is always with the locals. Like just ending up going to some just vibing with a local and then them taking me into their home. This guy, I don't want to say any names because it's going on the internet, but we ended up going on like an official government boat to go do like Coast Guard duties with them. And there's like the three of us from my group, and there's like the officers like dressed up, gun, like full on, like official. And we're just in there like, la la la, like vibing out, going on an official mission to go help a sailboat that was like stranded that needed to come in out there. Yeah, I love Bermuda. The people are great, but weird. Really weird.
Wow, that's so strange.
Yeah. Yeah, Bermuda is weird.
I wonder if that's how Cayman looks to people when they come here.
Just everyone's smiling.
Right, because we don't know what it's like to visit Cayman and see Caymanians for the first time, right?
Yeah,
that's like something we'll never know.
But Bermuda is pretty separated. A lot more than here.
In terms of
like
what?
Locals and expats.
Is that right?
Yeah.
There's a big divide?
Oh, yeah. Big divide.
Ooh.
Big divide. Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, big divide.
And you could sense that when you were there?
Yeah, you can see that.
Huh.
Because I was interacting with like both sides. But when I was like with the locals, there was no, they didn't really mix up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
I hope we never get there.
I think we're on our way, man.
You think?
Yeah, I think we're already there. Yeah, a few people have told me.
Maybe.
A few people told me when they first arrived, like in the early 2000s or like in the 90s, like all the clubs, I guess there weren't a lot of clubs, but everyone would be there together hanging out. Didn't matter what type of music was playing and stuff.
Yeah.
Like Royal Palms was amazing for that. Royal Palms, everyone went to Royal Palms.
Yeah.
It was a vibe, but you don't really have that unity, except for Carnival, Badminton.
True. You see it. You see people coming together then. I feel like there's not as many clubs now as there was in the early 2000s.
Really?
Like there was like 3 or 4 clubs. Now, what's the club here? Is there even a club right now?
I don't know. I think so. What's the one by the Strand?
Lily's?
Is it Lily's?
On the second floor there?
Is that still open?
I don't know. You tell. That's what we're trying to figure out here.
Know.
Are there clubs in Cayman?
Yeah. Are there clubs? There's Cayman Run Club.
Wow, that's pretty sad actually. If there isn't a club.
Because I've been questioning this. I don't know the answer yet, but why is it important to have clubs and for young people to party?
Why is it important?
Yeah. Because like lots of bad things happen, right? You remember Christian culture, right?
Yeah,
Christian
I'm with you. I'm sure a lot of people are happy there aren't clubs.
Yeah, but why is it important?
What do you think?
Well, I think it's important for young people to explore themselves, to socialize, and to learn about life, and just to express themselves, I think. Dancing is so healing, so I think for people to go out and dance and talk to people, meet people, it's good. But and then there's like the bad side of it, right? People abusing substances, fights going out, people get sexually assaulted and stuff like that. But I think being able to have access to go out teaches you a lot of life skills. But most importantly, just to be young and dumb and dance and express yourself. But also, I could argue that a lot and say, well, why do you want to put yourself in a position where you could, as a woman, probably be sexually assaulted as a man, you talk to someone and you probably get punched or something of the sort. Why do you want to spend your money getting drunk, saying things you're going to regret the next day and feel bad?
Yeah. It sounds like you're trying to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out everything about life myself because I'm going to be providing these events, and I want to do both health and wellness events where there's no alcohol. We do detox juices and stuff.
Right.
Some meditation, yoga.
Okay.
Deep breathing.
And this is on the boat too?
Yeah, this will be on the boat. But I also want to have a rave on the boat.
Right.
And just go off. You know?
Right.
Balance.
So you're looking at like the psychology.
Yeah, I think that's important because I'm creating an experience for people to enjoy and to relax and to be themselves and to express themselves. So, yeah. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too deeply into it.
I don't think so. I think you do need to think deeply about these things.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Because then you can offer a better product, a better service, right? When you really understand why people are motivated, you know, you can tap into that and then really satisfy your client, you know?
It's funny. When you say that, I think for health and wellness, people are looking for connection. I guess even partying, people are looking for a connection.
Yeah.
They just want to connect.
That's the human experience as well, right?
And that's why I love sailing. That's why I got this damn boat, this boat business. It started with Sail for Climate Action.
Okay.
That's when I was like, okay, I want to own a boat and I want to host people on a boat because the conversations are so in-depth and insightful and life-changing. Like you really connect on a deeper level on a boat. And I actually...
Should we have done this podcast on the boat?
Yeah, we should have. Actually, next time, scratch this. Let's just go do a podcast on the boat. I would love to do that. But maybe that's actually what made Caymanians so magical and charmful.
All the time that they spent on boats?
Yeah, all the time spent out at sea. Yeah. Because you really have... When you're out there, it's just you. Like on a night watch, everyone's asleep. It's just you driving the boat. When you have a tiller, like it's just you, pitch black for hours straight. You can play music, you can listen to a podcast, or you can listen to your thoughts, meditate. Like it's just you. Or when someone else comes up, it's just you and them, the other person.
That's really explored a lot in that book. It's actually a novel for Tortuga that we want to do into a movie, but it's very much, there's lots of situations like that where there's just one guy out on the bow of the boat and the stars are there and it's dark and then he can see a few other people like moving around the boat there and then someone comes to talk to him and it's very, it's like this weird mix of solitude but also connection with nature.
I think that's a great way to put it. It is, solitude and connection. Because when you're out like 7 days straight, you watch the week, you watch the cycle of the moon and the sun. Like you are full on out there. You see the wind change, you feel the wind change. You watch the sun come up, you watch the sun go down, you watch the moon come up, and you watch the moon go down. And you see it changing positioning. Like you're fully engulfed in nature. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. It's just you. And then you arrive to a new port and it's all exciting, like new people, new language, new food, new area.
So what's the immigration process like when you land in a new country? Is there even an immigration process?
It's really loose. It's crazy. The ocean's lawless. I think Cayman needs to tighten up their security, to be honest with you. Actually, every country should. But you put up a yellow flag, the quarantine flag. That's where like quarantine comes from. A lot of terms that we use is actually sailor terms.
Okay, because this has nothing to do with COVID, right?
No, nothing to do with COVID, but it's called a quarantine flag. And you have to put it up when you arrive into a port so the people there know that you haven't cleared of customs yet.
Okay.
Because just like when you arrive on an airplane, you have to clear through customs. It's the same with a boat.
Right.
Most places, they send an officer to you. And you go, they stamp you in. You get an entry by sea. It's a different stamp.
So you do need to bring your passport or your ID and stuff like that, right?
You have to bring your passport. You have to bring. You're entering a new country. You're leaving. Even when I leave Cayman on a sailboat, we clear out. Customs punches in your passport leaving. And then you leave.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, because
I mean, it makes sense, but I just never thought about it. I've never done it. I've never left Cayman on a boat.
Yeah, so when you leave, you have to clear customs, you clear out. Because you can't enter into another country without having a stamp that you cleared out of another country. I don't understand why, I don't really know, but I just know that you have to have the in and out
Otherwise,
stamp.
you're suspect. Like, who are you?
Yeah, you're illegal.
Yeah,
because the ocean is lawless. The ocean's tricky. But when we went to Panama, Bocas del Toro, it was weird. I'm pretty sure we got scammed. But you're supposed to wait in Jamaica. When we went to Jamaica,
some like random guy came and like checked you in or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Took some money and that had nothing to do with immigration.
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. We still got a stamp and no, we got the stamp in the airport. Oh my gosh, we totally got scammed. Now
it's becoming clear.
I think so.
The cobwebs.
Yeah, because we paid more at the airport to get the stamp.
Which airport?
The Bocas del Toro,
in Panama.
Yeah.
So wait, you went there. Why did you go to the airport?
Just to get the stamp.
Really? So you had to get off the boat and go to the airport to get a stamp?
But some people came to us because we were not allowed to leave the boat until they came to us.
And so how did you get to the airport?
We left the boat.
After they came
to us.
And you still had to go to the airport to get stamped?
It was a weird one. That was weird.
Some guy just like...
Yeah, Jamaica was funny.
So you went to Jamaica on the same trip too?
No, on a different trip.
Okay.
But Jamaica didn't even stamp my passport. I technically entered Jamaica illegally because I didn't have a visa. Because, you need a $100 visa.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You need Jamaican visas still?
I didn't know,
That's messed up.
So I show up to Jamaica, and they're like, the captain's like, okay, just put $100 in your passport, and they'll take the money and stamp you.
All right.
The money returned, but no stamp.
What happened then?
But I was allowed to enter. But there was like 30 people, so it was fine. But
30 people on the boat with you?
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, fine.
This is for self-private
And they didn't
action.
take the 100?
Yeah, they didn't take the 100. Just let me go. And it's funny, when we got to Jamaica, they were like, okay, no one's allowed to leave the boat. Of course, I'm going to leave the boat. And my buddy and I, one of the deckhands, we both left the boat and just explored Jamaica, the port area.
So wait, where were you? Where in Jamaica?
Port Antonio.
Okay.
It's really beautiful.
Where is that again?
It's
North?
another pirate spot. That's the thing I love about sailing. It's on the northeast. There's other pirate hideout there. All of the places I visited, it's immense pirate history, and I love it. I love going hunting for artifacts and treasure hunting and researching these places and the pirates that would go there. I found a lot of cool stuff around the Caribbean. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, that the pirate history is fascinating. There's a couple movie scripts to be written there around that.
I think so. But this Fort Tortuga sounds great because in Nicaragua, in Providence, there's so much like Caymanian influence there. The Big Islands from Honduras, massive Cayman influence there.
Right.
Same with those islands in Cuba. I don't remember the name, but there's some.
What's that one in Cuba called? Where there's a bunch of Caymanians, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it fails me right now too. And they speak English there too, don't they?
Yeah. Same with Providence. A lot of people in San Andreas, no one really spoke English, but in Providence, everyone spoke.
You know Sam Rose?
No.
Well, he's I don't know, the Swanky Kitchen Band.
Okay.
The lead violinist.
Yes.
He was telling me about how Cayman is actually more closely related to those islands than we are to like the Eastern Caribbean islands.
I 100% agree. That's so true.
But that's something I was never taught that.
No, it's something I found out after visiting these
culturally,
places.
musically.
Oh yeah, the food, all of it.
Right.
The slang, the names of the roads. Yeah, culturally, I totally agree with that statement.
And I guess it was because of that sailing route for some reason. Like, Cayman, in Fort Tortuga, they're going to get catch turtles. Yeah. That's the reason they're on the boat. So I would imagine that similarly back in the day, and then, you'd leave somebody at this island, they stay.
I never date a sailor. There's that sailor song, "We love you like a sailor." You don't want to be loved by a sailor. You have a great night and that's it. On to the next port and woman.
Interesting. No, but he showed me that how Cayman is musically connected with those islands.
That's really cool.
I thought that was it
I'd
because
love
like
to
the kitchen
explore that.
music, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of because in the Eastern Caribbean, from what I understand, they don't play like a lot of violin and fiddle, right?
No.
But in those Western Caribbean islands, they do. Okay. Yeah. So like that's kind of like where's the Cayman culture? Where's the Cayman music? We don't relate so much to reggae. We don't relate so much to soca, although of course we all love it, but.
That's true,
we never produced that kind of music.
Yeah, that's very true.
So I think there's a lot more to explore between those islands. And I know Sam has done a lot of work on that. pretty exciting. And you've done some work on that yourself. You've seen it, you know, firsthand.
Yeah. There's a place I really want to go. Serena Bank. I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Serena Bank. There's Misterioso Bank. There's these different banks, and the bank is like a shallow reef in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. And that's where these fishermen would go. Yeah. And I really want to go scuba diving there. I want to go check it out.
Well, cool. Same thing with Far Tortuga. That's where they're heading, to Far Tortuga.
Okay,
yeah. And it's like I can't remember. I think it's just a bank.
Yeah, we can pull out the map. I'll show you.
Yeah, show me.
Where I want to go. There's a few different places, and some of them have a little island there. Oh, I don't have any Wi-Fi. Oh.
Here, I'll log you on. Wow, that's crazy that they have these banks on the map, right? Is this like a special kind of map?
We can Google Maps as well. I'll show you them in Google Maps. But Google Maps are blacked out. But that's my track. So each stop, that's where we sailed. Each track's
wow, so you were pretty close right here to Nicaragua. Wow.
Yeah, too close. I really wanted to go to this little island here. No, it's Providence. This is Catalina. This is Captain Henry Morgan's Island. This is where we went. There's so many pieces of like like artifacts around here. Like cannons just underwater. In Haiti was crazy. The history there where we went was the first place where Christopher Columbus went when he discovered Hispaniola. And the same reasons why we went there, to be protected from the wind. There was like crazy wind coming. And when he showed up there, he said brown men in canoes went up to them and they offered them some stuff. When we went there, it was black men in little cat boats, looked just like cat boats, sailed up to us, and we offered them rope and stuff. And they pulled out this beautiful, it's not a queen conch, it's the helmet conch, the brown one.
Okay, I don't know.
It's flat.
Okay.
Beautiful conch shell. It's flat and it's brown, like the biggest one I've ever seen in my life, the most beautiful shell I've ever seen in my life, and it was made into a horn. And I was like blowing it, and the guy was like, "Oh, do you want it?" I was like, "Yes, please." And he looks at it. He's like, "Oh no, this one's ugly," and throws it in the water. I was so sad. I was so excited that he was gonna give me it, and then he didn't end up giving me one.
Why didn't you just dive in really quick?
It was deep, dark, scary, cold water. Yeah. No way, I was not doing that. I had my jacket on.
Worthless to him, right? Yeah. He's like, that's not the one. You're like,
it's crazy. It was so cool, and even on the land, it was like the forts, like everything. And I did so much research, like from that moment Christopher Columbus went there, like all the history to today, and you can see it all there, all the different generations of wars and forts and stuff. It's crazy.
So why did these guys come up to you in the catboat? Just to like say, hey, what's up?
We were waving. The captain was waving at them. It was super dramatic going in there because I wanted to go into land. It's been a dream of mine to visit Haiti. I love Caribbean history. It's something I'm really passionate about, and Haiti, Hispaniola really paved the way for the Caribbean as we know it. And they get so much hate, which is unfortunate. But without what they did, without their revolution, Caribbean wouldn't be here.
Why? What was the significance of their revolution?
They were the first to be emancipated. They were the first to get their freedom from slavery and to break away. They were the first to get their independence. First independent nation.
What was the name of the leader from Haiti again?
It starts with an M or something. I don't remember the guy who led it, the revolution.
Okay, but they were like the trailblazers.
Yeah, they actually started it because they heard about the French Revolution and about Napoleon, all this stuff, and then it got back to them, and that's what really ignited. Yeah, I guess they had some French in them for real. But what were we saying? What were we talking about this? Don't remember.
Well, you were sailing, baby. You were showing me the banks. You showed me on the map.
Show you the banks. Here. This is another place I want to go. This is Misteriosa is around here somewhere. I think that's it. You see, it's 65 feet right here. That's
right next to Cayman.
Yeah, but apparently this place is all fished out, so there's no fish here. And then there's Swan Island.
Wow, I've never seen that.
Really? There's a little military base there. It's Honduran.
A Honduran military base is there?
Yeah.
Huh.
And then, this is San Andres. And then there's other little island, which I really wanted to go to.
Her phone is blowing up right now. People are trying to get a hold of Steff. Yeah. We're soon done, Steff. We can end
I wanted to go here, but my dad was saying, like, it's kind of dangerous to go to these little islands because that's where they do lots of drug passovers. So instead of going onto the mainland, they'll go to the small island, drop off the drugs, meet up there and stuff.
Huh.
Yeah, see, you never know what you're gonna find out there.
You've done so much. You've seen so much. You've experienced so much for such a young lady. It's pretty crazy.
Really?
Yeah. What do you mean, really?
Thank you. I don't know.
Come on, let's not be humble here.
I'm crazy.
When did we meet?
I don't know. I don't know how we met.
I don't know either. I don't really remember. But it would have been before Easy Listening, right? The elevator movie that we did?
Yeah.
That was the first time I think that we worked together.
Yeah, that's true.
But where did we meet before? That was like 2019.
I don't know.
Because I remember kind of vaguely being aware of you, and then when that movie was coming along, did you know Petra before you knew me? Because she was helping me produce. No, okay. But somehow we came across you. And you helped us with the art and that.
That was my first movie. Actually, no, the first one was the movie I made for the young. And
I've seen that. You showed me that one. Yeah.
I would have never. Again, these youth programs are so important. I would have. Never, I loved filmmaking and stuff, but I would have never thought.
Been exposed to it or seen it. Huh.
And then I ended up working on movies.
So before we go, how was Survivor?
Survivor was crazy.
I mean, look at it. You've done all these things. You've been on Survivor for
Survivor broke my heart. Survivor.
I remember talking with you.
Yeah, Survivor really opened my eyes.
Well, I don't think we can give anything away, right? Because I think it's still going.
June 15th is the last episode.
June 15th is the last episode. Okay, there you go.
It was, if I want to do it again, I'll play it totally differently. I'll play the social game.
Why did your heart break?
Just on the reality of human behavior and how people can switch up, how people can lie, deceive you, manipulate you, and how people are okay with doing that. Mainly that people are okay with doing it to better off themselves. That was really like eye-opening for me, like how people, they don't even think twice about stabbing you in the back bus, to get ahead. So
interesting. Yeah. So you had to come to terms with that.
Yeah, and I know it's just a game, like under these crazy circumstances, but it's just like the corporate world. It's the same thing. It's the same. It's the game of life, and Survivor was just a concentrated example of that.
Huh.
Yeah.
So has your perspective on it changed? Like, do you think that there is there's an argument to be made to act like that?
I think so. Unfortunately, it goes against all of my values and morals, but I've had to reflect a lot after that, after the pageant, after my short-lived job. I had to really reflect on the reality of life,
right,
and how to play the game to
and
achieve what I want.
And what are some of those things that you've learned that you could maybe help us understand?
Well, don't say too much, first off. Be careful what you say and who you say it to.
Yeah,
I think I'm a very trusting person, but I'm starting to realize I can't trust people, and I have to be selective with my trust and make sure that trust is earned. This one's from 48 Laws of Power, but so true. Don't outshine the master.
Right.
Do not outshine the master.
Right.
That is so important.
Right.
Always make your superiors feel really good. Superior, make them feel like they're the best. Their ideas are the best.
Right.
And yeah. And communicating with people, even if you don't like them, pretend. Just make them like you. Just still,
play the game.
Yeah, play the game.
The social game.
Because I'm the type of person, I'll still be respectful. Even if I don't like you, I'll still say hi, hello, have a little small chit-chat, but I'm not going to ask, how are your family? I'm not going to go deep into it. I'm just going to be respectful. But I've learned that people go deep. They go deep. They learn everything. And they will use that against you. Yeah. After Survivor and after some experiences I had and learning some things about people, I was like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. And I'm like the honest fool out here.
The honest fool.
Yeah, the honest fool. I would say the nice guy finishes last.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of having a
reorientation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, I haven't found the answer yet, but I haven't figured it out, but there's a shift happening
Right.
within, for sure.
I mean, that's smart, I think, right?
Yeah, but
it's reality.
It is reality, but I don't know. Okay, I'm figuring it out.
Yeah.
But I just believe in being a good person, whatever that means.
Yeah.
Just do no harm, cause no harm, you know?
I mean, it's very Christian, actually, what you're saying. Christ always talked about that. He talked about that a lot.
Really?
Yeah. And even in his life, he had to navigate between, people who were out to get him, and they were pretending that they weren't out to get him.
Yeah.
And, and he, remember his quote, be as gentle as a devil, but as wily as a snake.
Oh.
So it's like circumstantial and just being aware of that, and how he wished his followers were like the followers of the world, because they're like more conniving or something.
Yeah, that's true.
Huh.
Yeah, I do like think about Jesus a lot and how he was as a human to forgive, because I'm learning that some people I loved and trusted did some things against me and sabotaged me and then just accepting that and letting go.
Oh, that's great.
Instead of being upset, because I'm quick with these intrusive thoughts to do this and that and get revenge, but I realize that's not the way.
No, it's not helpful, not constructive.
No.
Yeah.
But it still hurts.
Yeah.
It doesn't change how it feels, but maybe over time.
Huh.
Yeah, life is crazy.
I think that's wise. I think that's all very wise.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Yeah. You have any answers how to balance? Even being a business owner, and trying to always be good to my staff, my employees, people who are working with me, and keeping that balance of leader and friend. It's also a bit challenging.
Yeah. I remember on another conversation you told me about an issue with an employee.
So, because I always wanted to say yes, do good, but then I realized it's just not working out. And that's another thing I learned very recently, how I heard it, you hear this a lot, people take your, not kindness for granted, but kindness is weakness. Mm-hmm. It's totally true. Totally true. And I see that, even with my friends, which I'm distancing myself now. I see that. And I was like, please don't take my kindness for granted or as a weakness. It's out of love. It's true. But once I've caught on to it, I learned this from a mentor of mine. You got to set the boundary right away. Once someone shows you their true colors once, just believe it.
Believe them.
Yeah. Believe it and act accordingly. So maybe that's the issue. Always giving the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes you just got to accept people for who they are and how they operate.
Love it. So, what are we up to for the rest of the year?
Rest of the year, I'm just going to be focusing on my business now. As much as I want to travel and leave and do other things, I
sail around the world.
Yeah, I really want to do it, but I believe in my vision. I know what I'm offering is valuable. It's something that people want, and I want to pioneer water sports and culinary arts in Cayman, and I want to do some really cool things here. So
cool.
So
good. Well, I look forward to it, and I got to come on the boat.
Yes,
and if we ever do that movie where we need that boat,
yes, please.
We'll definitely use the boat. Please. And I just want to say that I'm happy you're an entrepreneur and that you're doing your own business at such a young age. I think that's super key. I started late.
Really? No. I would love to go and work and get more experience just in the workplace. Or something.
There's a lot to be learned there too. But I think there's more to be learned running your own business.
Really?
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah, there's more to be learned. I'm not saying there's nothing to be learned from having a 9-to-5 job.
Interesting.
There is a lot to be learned there, but I mean, being an entrepreneur is you got to make it happen every step of the way.
To make everything literally is all on you.
I always say this, but when you have a 9-to-5, you could literally not do anything all day.
That's what I should have done on my job.
And you'll still get paid.
Yeah, true.
The irony of running your own business is the opposite, is that you can work all day and still not get paid.
Yeah.
So there's a gulf of difference between the two.
That's true.
Yeah.
You really have to go hunt.
Right.
Yeah.
Huh.
But when it works really good.
It does, and I wouldn't change it for anything.
Yeah.
And hopefully you don't. So all the best.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good
Thank you
luck.
for having me.
Good luck today at Miss Piper's, Miss L'Oreal.
Ooh,
Wait, what's the tagline for L'Oreal?
You're worth it.
You're worth it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, you're worth it.
Thanks a lot, Steff.
Yes, thank you.
And next time we'll do this, maybe we'll do it on your boat.
Yeah, we will. On a boat. Whee!
Peace.
Yeah, we should definitely do it on a boat.